Hello, Joanne and Tony here, and from the Goose and the Gander, reporting to you from Romulus, Michigan at Polka Dots. We are heavy into some goose painting today. Come back. So we thought it would be a fun idea to give you guys a little bit of a window into our process of goose painting. We're going to start off by talking about what equipment you will need if you decide to paint a goose. Now, it is cost advantageous to buy a goose that has not been painted. However, just to warn you, it is not cost advantageous to purchase all of the things that you need if you're only doing one goose. But if you really, really love being creative, you might want to make that investment so that you can paint your own goose, and we fully support that. So the first thing you're going to need is white paint. So the one that we get generally is Glidden. It says Glidden exterior paint for use on stucco and masonry. So it's really, really good for the geese because they are, of course, made of cement. You water that down 50-50. And Anthony will sit down and talk to you in a few minutes about those first coats of paint. But this is the biggest thing that we buy all the time is this white masonry paint. Of course, you'll need a cup to put your paint in so you can water it down, a big brush for the white, little brushes for the detail work, and then these are the colors we use. We use Behr Premium Interior Exterior Paint to do the colors. We always use a satin. We just like the satin. You can use flat, you can use gloss, but we prefer the satin. This is Mandarin. So that's the color.
Upside down.
Oh, Mandarin. This is the color we use for beaks and feet. This is Sage Garden. This is the color we use for the bottom coat of grass. And then Perennial Green is the color that we use for the top coat of grass. We then have our paint markers. The brand for this one is Art Soul. I also use Sharpie. Some people like the Posco. I think it gets drippy, so I don't really love the Posco. And it's more expensive. So these we use for eyeballs and toenails and other things like that. And of course, if you like coffee.
Big B coffee.
Big B coffee, especially in Michigan. All right, so we're going to turn it over to Anthony, and he's going to show you how to paint the base coat.
Hi everybody, it's Tony, Goose and the Gander. Like Joanna said, we're at our northern nesting grounds at Polka Dots in Romulus, Michigan. They've generously given us the facility to do this.
Woo.
So, as that I have my 50-50 mix of clean water and paint here, thoroughly mixed. And the reason we do that is that it thins out the paint and it allows the paint to more easily go into the porous surface of the concrete and get in there and make a better surface for it. Now if you see, we'll get into this later, this one had a little bit of a busted tail and we had to patch that.
We'll do another video someday about repairing
your goose. But there is a process that we use. And once it's painted, there'll be a little less detail there, but you won't be able to see a seam where it cracked at all.
And why do we paint it white? Because some people paint a base coat of black, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But why do we like the white?
Well, because it's the classic goose color, the Martha gooses that everyone started with the 1930s was white.
Yeah, we like a very
sees,
clean, bright white.
Yeah, and it also gives us a surface if we did want to change anything, like do a Canadian. It gives us a very nice surface to work from there.
Or a Jared goose.
Or a Jared goose. For the youth Lions.
Go Lions.
That's right.
All right.
So you just give it. This is the first layer on this goose. We usually do 3 layers of exterior white paint.
Okay.
And then we do our detail work on top of it.
Yes. So. All right, I'll go ahead and pause and we will pick back up with the goose feet. right, so again, this is Behr interior, exterior. We get the sample size. This usually lasts us pretty long. We'll do all of these geese with this, and probably some more once we get home. So it lasts a while. When we first buy it, we don't water it down. After a little while, it will need to be watered down because it'll get thick pretty in a couple weeks. But this particular one will probably be gone before we have to do that. So we've got our white goose. It's been painted 3 times with the exterior masonry paint. We're just gonna get a little bit of the orange. You can come in a little closer, and we're just gonna paint the feet. Now, I can be pretty messy with the orange because we're gonna come back in and do green around and over it. So don't be afraid. It's just paint. It's just paint. You can always paint over it. I like to do the orange first because it's easier. The green will sort of neutralize the orange, where the orange will not do that to the green. I don't know the color science behind that, but it's easier to cover orange mess with green than it is green mess with orange. So somebody in the comments might be able to explain that a little better. So,
Science.
I don't know. I didn't go to art school. Maybe Amy Cooper, our friend, can explain it. But you can see I'm not being super careful. We'll fix that as we go into the next layer. So I'm pretty careful right here because that's going to stay white. So that's the part I try to be a little more gingerly with. But other than that, we're just coming in and kind of getting it orange. This takes 2 to 3 coats. So you do it once, you let it dry, and then you come back in and put another coat or 2 on, depending on how your paint is feeling that day. So, all right. So there's 1 coat there. I'll come in and do the beak as well. Again, this part is going to stay white, so we want to be a little bit more careful. But if we mess up, we'll just put a little white on there and cover it up. So some people get nervous about painting. There's no reason to be nervous. You just do the best you can. And sometimes the mistakes you love just as much as you love what you did right. So we will pause again for a moment and come back and show you what to do with the green. All right, so this guy, he's already got the white. He's got orange. So he's ready for his first grass layer. So we start with the Sage Garden, which is the lighter green color. So as I said a moment ago, the green is really good at neutralizing the orange. So come in and I kind of outline around the feet. So there's a toenail, and I'm just gonna gently come around.
If you don't like green, the models that we use could easily pass as like reeds and
Yeah, you could do brown.
you could do brown and like a harvest yellow over that, and it would look just as good. So don't think you have to use green.
Some people like different colors on the beaks and the feet, so I recently did a custom order with pink and purple. I made one of my very best friends a goose, and I painted the toenails blue because blue's her favorite color. She's always getting her nails done in blue, so I said obviously her goose has to have blue toenails. So you can get as creative as you want. It's your goose.
Make it your own.
You can make it your own. All right, so I'm not gonna make you watch me do the whole thing. You kind of get the idea here.
But I'll show you what the finished product looks like over here on this earlier one.
So when you finish, your original green, your first layer of green should look like this here. That is not the final look of the green. You come in and you do another layer, which I'll show you in a moment, of the darker green on top. But we will see that in a minute. All right. Good morning. Yes, I said good morning. We are, through the magic of not television, YouTube, it is the next day. So we've been working hard painting. We have 1 table of geese left. Everything else is finished. So The step we are working on now is applying the darker green top layer. So last step we showed you, we put down the lighter green. That provides a little bit of a base coat. Now, let's zoom in a little to see the difference. So this is the version of, it has light green with dark green on top. Makes it look a little variegated, a little bit like grass. And if you look over here, this version just has a couple of coats of the lighter green. So it's a different look. Some people like this. Hey, if you like it, you do you, boo-boo. That's totally fine. But most of our customers want the more grassy look. So I'm going to show you how to do that. All right. So, got our darker green color here. This one, again, is Perennial Green by Behr Paint. My brush is a little bit damp, not a lot, just a little. I'm going to take the tiniest amount of green paint. And then I kind of even brush quite a bit of it off. And then I just very lightly, there's ridges that go vertical. I want to go sideways. So when I go sideways, it hits all those high parts and leaves the low parts the other color.
So would this be considered dry brushing?
I guess that's what you would call it, dry brushing. The brush is wet, but we're just very lightly applying and kind of working in this darker color to give it a little bit of variation. So, like I said yesterday, I'm not an artist, but this is what I do.
You did stay at a Holiday Inn last night.
I did stay at a Holiday Inn. I stayed at the Ron and Betty Jo Bentley Inn last night. So,
that would be my lovely in-laws.
even better than a Holiday Inn. So you can see I'm just putting like the tiniest amount of paint on there and working it in. Now there's still some spots here where that orange is going to need touch up, but we'll get in there and do that after we finish the green. And that's about it for the green. I just work my way around. Doesn't take a lot of time. You just kind of work it in as much as you like it. If you want it a little darker, you can let it dry and come back and do another layer of that. I generally do one layer of the light green, one layer of the dark green, and that's usually enough to call it a day. All right, so next we're going to show you nostrils, eyeballs, and toenails. So stay tuned. All right, we said eyeballs and nostrils next. So if you take a good look at the goose, you got their eyeball here, and there's a little divot for the nostrils there. Some people don't like to fill in the nostrils. I personally do. We always joke with Jay here at Polka Dots. If we forget a nostril, he sends us messages and say, he can't breathe, he can't breathe. But yeah, most of the time we fill in the nostrils as long as we're remembering to. So I showed this before. This is my acrylic paint marker, well loved. One side is supposed to be more like a brush, but I've used it so it's kind of worn, and then the other side is a tip. So at this point, for me, it doesn't matter which side. The brush, when it is in good shape, is a little bit more fine of a tip. So whichever you prefer, whichever you feel more comfortable with, you can practice before you do it. So we're going to start with the nostrils. Super easy. I'm going to find the little divot. I'm going to come up, and I'm just going to put a mark in the divot. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Over here, same thing. Just follow the divot. And then they've got nostrils. For the eyeballs, people like different colors. So we've got green over here. We did blue. We did another color I like. Some people call it yellow. It's more of like a bronze color, so kind of a goldish brown. Most of our geese we do with this color because it looks kind of natural, but we're playing with other colors because people like different things. So I'm going to do this one in aqua. You can, if you like, trace around to make dark lines around the eye. Some people like to do that. I personally don't because I mess it up.
Give your goose a little cat size?
Yeah, I tend to mess it up. So the times that I've tried it, I end up painting over it. Again, it's just paint.
Isn't it Lady Gaga that does the big eye makeup?
Lady Gaga does do quite a bit of eye makeup. So Lady Gaga Goose, maybe? Or Gaga Goose?
The Gaga goose?
All right, so I'm angling this down to give me a better angle on the eyeball. And so I'm going to take my color, and I'm just going to make a big circle in that eyeball. So you want your light color, your blue, your green, your bronze, whatever you decide to do. I messed that up a little bit there, but I can come back with a little white paint and fix that in a minute. All right, so there's our eyeball. Now, I'm going to take my black marker, and this side is already dry because I did it already. So I've got my eyeball on this side. I'm going to take my black marker, and I'm going to make another circle on top of the light circle. So we've got the little bit of color and the black pupil. Now I find it to be attractive to have a little white dot. So it's like a little reflection in the eye. And so I'm just going to come here and make kind of where the two circles meet, a little white dot. And that's it. You can make the black circle bigger, smaller, depending on what you like. You can make the blue circle bigger, smaller, depending on what you like. But that is the eyeball. Pretty straightforward. Nostrils are pretty straightforward. And then I'll show you while we're doing this version, the toenails. So
if you can do circles and dots.
If you can do circles and dots, you can do eyeballs.
You can do eyeballs.
Now, down here, we've got our toenails. Just going to show you one. Again, we've got our black acrylic paint marker. This is so much easier to control than a paintbrush. So I am just coloring the toenail. Sometimes it goes a little over, and that's okay. I'm just coloring it in. There's the toenail. Same with the next one. Just coloring it in. And we got a toenail. All right. So that is the basics of how you paint a goose. They sell the unpainted geese here at Polka Dots in Romulus. If you are from Michigan, this is a great place to go to get your goose. We just painted 24 geese over the past couple days, so there are the ones you've been watching us paint. Those are available for sale. And then if you wanted to try painting one yourself, you can purchase an unpainted one here to try on your own. We'll show you the sealing method in a minute here. And I think we might make a separate little video that shows you what else is available at Polka Dots. We'll do a little walkthrough, a little walk around. Anything else you think they need to know, honey?
No, I think we've covered pretty much everything. We will do a patching video at some point.
Yep. We're making videos throughout the month of January. We ourselves down in North Carolina are mostly going to be on hiatus from selling and doing shows
Until after February.
Until February, probably towards the end of February. Just because it's very hard to make geese in the wintertime because of the temperature. We don't have a heated space to do that in, so it takes a long time for them to cure. But also, we need a rest. We've been going full throttle for
over a year
now doing this, and we love it, and we love meeting all of you and hanging out with you at shows and getting you your geese. But yeah, we need a little break so we can come back.
Recharge the batteries. Come
back bigger, stronger, better than ever. We've got some plans and ideas for some new things we'll be offering, so stay tuned. All right.
Good morning, everybody. We're going to do our next course and how to make the geese. We're going to do sealing. So I'm using Rust-Oleum clear sealer. So they make all kinds of stuff like this. They make a high gloss, semi-gloss, however shiny you want your goose, work for you. All right, make sure.
We like a glossy goose.
Just make sure it's clear.
You got all your geese in a row?
So this is our last flight to land this morning. So this is flight of 9. So it's a bit windy out here in Romulus this morning. So I'm gonna move the geese around. So what you want to do is, this one has a different nozzle settings. Some of them don't. You just gotta watch how close you are. So if it starts to drip, you're doing too much. So let's get a nice good coating on like that. And then because I'm working like this, I'll take on the dry side here so my hand don't get all sticky. And swing that goose around.
What is the purpose of sealing a goose?
All right, so concrete by its nature is a porous material. It's going to take in moisture and it will pass it out. That's why we don't finish the bottoms of the goose. So that way there's a place for the moisture to leave this patch. For people in a colder climate like Michigan and the Midwest, it'll freeze, and that moisture will get inside this if you seal it completely and bust up your concrete.
Oh, we don't want that.
That's also why I don't put re-rod inside my goose, because that re-rod is a source of decay and corrosion that will break apart your goose. These geese do not have enough mass up here in the neck where they just need reinforcement. So don't grab them by the neck because it's not a load-bearing structure. Grab them under the breast and under the tail like that, and your goose will be fine.
All right.
So the reason we seal them though is to help protect the paint so it lasts longer, and also give a little bit more protection so you're not taking in as much moisture into your goose.
Thank you, honey. I'm going to let you get to sealing.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.